Hi, guys. It's me, your economics professor, still hanging in there, and I hope you are too. Seriously, though, I hope that all of you are doing well and that you are weathering this, whatever it is, with the grace that I have come to expect, with the grace and dignity I have come to expect from all of you. So, I just thought I would check in and maybe I know it's not the same as being in person, but I thought perhaps I could ask a few of the questions you may be thinking, if I can come up with those, or certainly um, kind of tell you what's coming up, maybe reassure you in some way. And at the very least, I would like to give you my take on the economy because I have been going crazy here with all of these thoughts in my head and no outlet for them. So you guys get to be my outlet for those thoughts. Aren't you lucky? And I bet you did pay for this. You did not only sign up, but pay for this. So you have no one to blame but yourself on this one. Okay. I am recording this outside because it's a gorgeous day and we may as well make the best of it. Okay? I would like to put a disclaimer at the beginning. You guys know me well enough to know by now that my weapon of choice is humor. And what I like to do is make people feel better by making jokes. So, in the beginning, if I say something, I don't know what's going on in your lives out there, okay? How many of you are coming across things that are not good, whether it's illness or financial distress or anxiety or whatever's going on with you? So, let me know. Let me let you know that I feel very empathetic to you, okay? The way I get through things that are uncertain is to laugh and joke, and we're going to hear some weird things out here, aren't we? Laugh and joke and tell funny stories and that type of stuff. It is not my intention to offend or make light of anyone's troubles, okay? So if I make a joke that doesn't land, that you don't think is funny, please accept my blanket apology in the beginning, and I'm going to try to watch that, okay? That having been said, I sincerely, sincerely do hope that all of you guys are staying well, okay? That you're staying well and that you're staying healthy and that you're not killing your family members yet and they're not killing you. With that in mind, I think I might can give you a little bit of reassurance about the financial stuff anyway. So if financial issues are what's bothering you, then we can work with that, okay? Maybe I can give you some things that'll feel better, and certainly I'm here for you at any time. We cannot see each other in person anymore, but I am here for you anytime. We can Zoom, we can chat, we can email, we can do all of these things. We can, we can connect if there's something I can say or if talking to me would somehow make you feel better, okay? So make sure that you get in touch with me. Email's the best place to start. So start with email and let me know what your needs are or what I can do to help you out, or if you just like to chat because you miss me, because you know I miss you guys, we can do that. All right? So I'm here for you. And I'm certainly advocating for you to make sure that you get what you need from my class. Okay? So we'll get started with that. I will say I do miss you guys terribly. I miss you. See, I've been hanging on this joke, so I got to tell you, I miss you almost as much as toilet paper. Ba-dum-bum. Okay. Ah, it didn't land. Okay. Maybe it did. Maybe some of you are cracking up out there. All right. Now I'm making one video for my online and in person. Some of you already have my class online. You know what to expect. Okay. For those of you who didn't, at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what to expect for those of you who are transitioning from face-to-face to online. So those of you who are already online, you don't have to listen to that. So you can cut out early once we get that part, because nothing's really going to change for you except some dates. Sorry, on the camera, I saw a bug in my hair. Nothing's going to change for you except a couple of dates that we're massaging. And to my knowledge, at this time, we are not extending the semester. We're going to try not to do that so that we can continue on with Maymester and summer and all that stuff. So right now, we're going to keep things as they are. So the dates, the ending dates will be the same. We're just going to kind of massage the dates a little in the middle. Okay, so there's that. All right, so let's talk a minute first. Let's just talk a little bit about what's going on with the economy. This is kind of an uncertain time, isn't it? You'll remember, and I really hate for those of you who are in my macro class that this happened before I got to go over economic history, because it's one of my favorite things. And all right, so if you see me doing this, there are some bugs out here, but I'm kind of enjoying it though, being out here. So I'm just going to deal, and you guys will get to laugh at me. You could use a laugh, right? So I'm sorry that I don't get to go over economic history for you. Good grief. Okay, I must be really sweet today, myself, because we do go over some things, some times that we have had in our history similar to this. And by similar, I mean things that we had no idea what was going on. We'd never had this happen before, and we didn't quite know how to react. This is one of those times, right? So, you see in the background, you can see the little puppy there. You'll hear him bark some. He likes to come and go. Let's see, there he goes. Okay. And so this is one of those times. We don't know what to expect. But one of the good news is there's a couple of good things involved in this, all right? The first thing is we have been through bad times before. Or it's not like the Great Depression where it was something completely new. We didn't have a lot of tools in our tool belt and we weren't quite sure what to do, okay? So it's not like that. What it is instead, you know, with 9/11, 9/11 was something similar that threw us into a tailspin here in the United States. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what was coming. All we knew was that more was coming, and we weren't quite sure how to deal with that. With this, at least we have been through something like that. We know we have technology. We know we have weapons, and I'm not talking about guns and war weapons. I'm talking about computers and, you know, well, just technology. I mean, right now, look at us right now. We're sitting here having class here. In the days before this were possible, class would have been ended, and, you know, who knows what would have happened. But we're not at that point now, okay? CEOs can run their companies from their spare bedrooms, and they're doing that. So there's a lot of things. A lot of people can work from home. Those who can't, they can shift around. They're working it out, okay? They're working it out. So right now, we have some flexibility. We have all this stuff. Now, if I'm going to save that fun fact. I had a fun fact. I'm going to save that for you. But we do have a lot of things we can do to make things better, okay? So it's not all bleak. It's not all apocalyptic yet. So we can, and again, that's not to make light of anyone who has some anxiety about this, because certainly I myself have woken up a few mornings at 3, 4 a.m. and could not get back to sleep because some random thought occurs to me that I can't let go of. Okay, so I get that. I'm there. And sometimes we'll get those random thoughts that we're like, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Or, you know, but we'll get through it. All right, but then let's talk ourselves down and we'll get through it. And that's one of those things that if you need me to talk to you, I'm here. Pardon me. I'm coming to you from Pollen Central, right? So that I like to see because life does go on. Right now, we're uncertain and we're unsure, but life is going on. Flowers are blooming. You know, we put some of those out there. See, flowers are blooming. Pollen is going. That little guy, let's see, I'm trying to get to him. Can I get? There he is. You caught a little glimpse of him there. He'll come back. That little guy is still going along. The animals, I made this note here on my things to tell you. The animals don't know any of this is going on. See, looking back. See that bee? I've been watching him. There's bees, birds, etc. I saw Matt LeBlanc, Joey from Friends, had put up a video of this sheep that was just adorable, had a precious face. So just look at the animals. When you get anxious, when you don't know what's going on, look for some of these animals, come outside and see the birds and the bees and all these things, and, you know, the squirrels. And if we take a minute, you hear the birds? You hear the birds, and you'll know that the world keeps turning, okay? So the animals don't know any of this is going on. My dog is just happy to have us all home, and yours probably is too. So we'll think about that. All right, so this isn't what you wanted to see. You wanted to hear about the recession. Okay, so some people are already throwing around the dreaded R word, aren't they? And you probably, some of you who know me well, probably thought to yourself, Miss Hambrick is throwing a darn hissy fit right now. And you were right, okay? You guys were right. I threw a hissy fit right now, and it's because um, we don't know that yet, do we? And words are powerful. When people hear they're in a recession, that's going to cause more anxiety and more trouble. And the last recession we just came over was a big deal, and it hurt people, and we don't want that to happen again, okay? So I'm very angry at them. And to be fair, maybe we are. All right, this may be the first month of that 6-month stretch that I've told y'all about, but we don't know that yet, do we? This may only last for a couple of months. We may rally and it not even be anything. Okay, we don't know that yet. Now, what makes me mad about these folks that are going ahead and calling it now is because all they want is to get their name in the paper, to go on record as being the first one to call it, right? They want to be like Christian Bale's character in The Big Short or something like that. And shame on them for doing that. All right, so don't let them win. Don't let them get their 15 minutes of fame. You just ignore them. Don't anybody look at them. That's from Father of the Bride, if anybody knows. But don't anybody look at them. So just don't look at them and don't worry about that. We've got bigger fish to fry at this point in time, okay? So I'm very upset with them. Now, yes, we're seeing some shelves, some grocery shelves that are empty, especially with the toilet paper. I mean, what the darn heck, guys, with that? But, you know, and Procter & Gamble, everybody are saying, we're making it. We're trying to make it. But anyway, so our neighbors and I, we're doing a co-op type thing with that. Actually, it's just them with me. I don't fear death, so I've been going to the grocery store. So I said, I'll pick up what you guys need at the grocery store. And somebody did have some toilet paper that they're going to share with me. So it's working. It's nice you get to know your neighbors that way and get to work out the barter system, which is something else, an economic term. But I'll let you look that one up on your own. There's plenty of food in the supply chain. The problem is the minute it hits the shelves, people buy it up. And that's the issues here. My daughter and I were in Publix, and we saw a gentleman from the meat market coming out with packs of ground beef, ground chuck, and there was this big swarm. And people were, you know, just... he was saying, please let me put it in the shelf before you attack me, and, you know, you can only have 2. So it was very, you know, people are just, their baser instincts. Panic is an ugly thing, right? So he was doing that. My neighbor was saying she had been at Sam's Club and somebody hit somebody else. Somebody attacked somebody else with a wine bottle over some bottled water. And I said, you can get that out of the tap, folks. Don't kill somebody over that. So, but the point is there are plenty of, I mean, that was bad. There's plenty of food in the supply chain. The trouble is getting it to you. Now, mindset is key, okay? Mindset is key. You have to keep a proper perspective, a proper mindset. So make sure you do that, and, you know, you'll be okay. All right? So just know there's no food shortage. There is plenty of it. There are still people going to work who are making the food and the toilet paper and the napkins and all that stuff, okay? So don't worry about it. And as far as recessions go, and we're wondering, this is going to be bad. You know, my mother is just, I called her up and she's saying, oh, this is going to be bad. And I said, you don't know that it's going to be bad. We don't. Remember what I told you about recession, that when you fall into a hole, how deep that hole is how long it's going to take you to come out of it. We don't know how deep that hole is yet. All right. We don't know yet. So don't start assuming it's going to be bad. Just kind of, just keep a proper perspective. All right. Right now, what they're talking about is, they said, the different holes that we could fall into, if you will. There could be a V. It could be shaped like a V, and, you know, like that. And that's kind of how I drew it. So that's where we go down deep, and then we crawl our way out, or we go down, you know, partially, however deep that V is, and we come right back out. That's actually not a bad way to be, okay? The one that I actually should have drawn, and I will next semester, is the one that's more like it's a U, okay? So you come and you stay at the bottom a little bit, and then you come back out, all right? So that's one that's more like what, and that takes a little bit longer to recover. But you do recover. You always do. We always have. We always will, okay? And then the one that they're concerned that we don't want to have is the L, which goes down and then just kind of stays at the bottom. I don't see that happening, okay? And you guys can trust me or not. Uh-oh. Here I am. You guys can trust me or not on that, and I hope you do. But I don't see that happening. I don't see it being an L, okay? I think we're going to be okay here. And whether you like our government or not, and I'm trying to avoid saying the president, but I'm going to just say it. Whether you like the president or not, he does understand economics. He does. And we're not going to get into everything he said or everything he's done, but I will say that a lot of what's going on over there is going to be good for our economy. Okay? So just, you can trust me or not on that if you want, but if it makes you feel better, just know that I don't think it's going to be as dire as what some of the doomsdayers are predicting. But we will see. A lot of that depends on medical science, and it depends on things that are outside of the economic control. A lot of this is going to be reactive. Okay, we're going to feel our way as we go because a lot of this is going to depend on medicine. But fingers crossed that we'll come up with something that will work. All right, so let's talk about banks for a minute. All right, so right now, oh wait, before we do this, all right, we're going to push pin and all right, so that's recession. We're going to do this with the, all right, hang on. I've got it organized. All right, so let's talk about banks first. Right now, what's going on, the government, the Treasury Department, and the Federal Reserve are shoring up the banks. All right, so they're making money available to banks. They know. All right, so I'm going to tell you about a friend of my daughter's who owns her own home. She has a mortgage, and she works for a company where she is not getting a paycheck, or she's not sure if she's going to get a paycheck. She is panicked. So we talked through that. Some of you may be in that same situation. Right now, don't panic. Okay? Now that's easy for me to say, I know, but go with me on this. First of all, you're not the only one. Now in the Great Recession, a lot of the banks, they were part of the problem. And not everyone was in this situation. Okay? Right now, still not everybody's in this situation. But there are a lot of people will be, and everybody knows this is nothing that anybody could have handled differently or done differently or what, you know. It's just, it is how it is. So the banks are going to be working with you. Now, one thing we did learn from the Great Recession is that what we need to keep the economy going, we need that ease of credit for the banks, right? We need the banks to have an ease of credit and to be able to continue to make loans. So the government is providing that money for banks to do that. All right, and it will be good. It'll be okay. They're not going to be foreclosing on people right now. All right, I can almost guarantee that. Now, there's a small percent chance that some rogue bank will, but I don't think the government will allow that, to be honest, because we're all in the same boat, and not even just the United States, globally. Okay, so this is everywhere. So people are going to, there's a lot of flexibility that will come from this, okay? So don't worry about your mortgage or things like that. The utility companies are suspending disconnections. So if you don't have money to pay your utilities, you're still going to, they're not going to turn off your electricity. All right, so don't worry about that. You're good for right now. So the only thing you have to worry with what limited funds you have, if you have limited funds, is food. Make sure you've got food on the table. You do that first. Now, whatever you've got left over from there, yes, by all means, continue to keep up your bills because that will make it easier for you later. And it'll make it easier for your banks to work with you. Okay, so if you have the money, if you're getting a regular paycheck, don't hoard a ton of cash. Go ahead and pay your bills. But if you're not getting a regular paycheck and you can't, then it's not what I want, then I would advise that you just stick with food and your necessities, gas for your car, things like that. And speaking of gas for your car, my 8 a.m. class, my 8 a.m. macro class knows, yes, gas prices have gone down. My husband went out and he saw it was like $1.80 something a gallon. So Paige, I know you're keeping up with it, and it's out there. So we proved that right. And the rest of the classes too. We all did look at that. So gas prices are going down. So definitely, if you have to go somewhere, keep gas in your car and all that stuff, okay? So just do that. The rest of it as you get time, but make sure food is number one. If you don't have any money coming in, there are some resources, and I will try to put those out for you if I can think about it on D2L. I'll just put a list of there where you can look at them. Okay, but just kind of check with your local chamber of commerce and places like that. You can check. You can call into Highlands if you're having issues with money and you have no food. Call into Highlands and ask, and they'll look at their food pantries and what we can to get some food for you. Okay, so just don't worry about that. All right, so what's going on right now? So the banks are they're making some loan. The Federal Reserve is going into extreme monetary policy. For those of you who, and none of you would have gone over this yet unless you've already had economics, but extreme monetary policy means they're going to increase the money supply, expand the money supply, make more money available for people to spend. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. If you study monetary policy in the macro classes, you're about to study monetary policy, and you'll know what I'm talking about after that point. And I'm not going to go over that now, but just know that they're making more money available for people to spend. Because you remember, C plus I, and we're going to ignore G and X and all that. But C and I, we need to keep those going, right? That's the main thing. C and I right now, even if people could spend, there's not a lot of places open to do that. But online, shop responsibly. There's some awesome sales and deals online. If you have the money to do so, go ahead. Don't be afraid to spend that money. If you don't have the money to do so, and by all means, don't go spend willy-nilly, pell-mell, all that. Spend responsibly, but don't stop spending just because of this is going on here. Because you guys know that you got to keep the spending up to keep the economy going. All right? So just be responsibly with it. Businesses. Some businesses are having to close and they're in dire straits. And so the government has approved what the Senate has approved, what should be in the House today. I will keep you updated as I get updates, that they're making loans to small businesses and distressed companies. All right? So they know we've got to keep people working. We've got to keep production going. We've got to keep stuff available for people to purchase. So that should work. Okay? That should work for everybody. That should help. So let's see. There were some, I have not looked deep into the details. Some of that was going to be, the only way to get these loans would be you would have to hang on to at least 90% of your workforce, keep them on the payroll. That I thought was a good idea. Let's see how that goes. Okay. So right now, it's looking good that way. And then of course there's some relief for consumers as well. So the Federal Reserve is going into extreme monetary policy, which will help. Businesses, small businesses, if you have the means to do so, support your business community. If you can, spend responsibly. Sorry, I could not read my own notes. Okay. So spend responsibly. Now, don't spend just for the sake of spending, but if you can support a business, do so. What we've been doing, we've been ordering a lot of takeout. Kind of made things fun a little bit. You know, we've made it like a little staycation, an at-home vacation. What have we been watching on TV and movies? Everything. We've gone into our archives. We've rented a couple of new releases, you know, all that stuff. We tried to make it fun. And we have done some takeout because the grocery stores, the shelves have nothing on them. And the restaurants are saying, please come and eat with us. So we've been doing that. And it's worked out really great for us. If you can do that, do that. You know, help out your small businesses because we do want them to still be here when this is done. We make a trip to Tiny Bubbles Tea Bar a couple of times a week. They've got everything set up with their social distancing. You can order from the app, run in and grab it and go, and it's delicious. It's a great respite for you. So by all means, you know, if you can, support your local businesses. Please do so, okay? Because, and I'm saying this, this is for economics, because you guys know what will happen if you don't and if you do, right? And we want a nice, thriving economy to come back to when this is over with, or at least preserve it as much as we can. So have a good treat. All right. Stocks. Let's talk about the stock market, shall we? Okay. Now remember what makes up prices. First of all, stock prices are very, very it dependent on whether the company's worth. If people don't know, if there's some uncertainty about what's going to happen and what's going to happen with um, what's going to happen with the economy and whether these businesses are going to be rescued, whether they're going to be bailed out, whatnot, that's going to make the value of the company go down. Remember, I told you a stock price is the value of the company. All right, it's the value of the company. Right now, that's up in the air. We don't know. So stock prices are going to fluctuate. It's nothing to worry about. If you're an investor, if you invest or your family invests or something like that, it's nothing for you to worry about at this point. I read a saying the other day that I loved. It says there in the stock market, the price that only matters for 2 days of your life. That's the day you buy and the day you sell. Everything in between does not matter. Okay? So don't panic and don't worry about the stock market. It is going to rebound. It always does. It already has with this bailout and with this government plan that's in mind. And that tells you it's a good plan that's going to help businesses. So look at that as a positive thing. If stocks are dropping right now, that's because there's uncertainty. Okay, and that's going to be that way for a minute. So just somebody called it. So forgive this, but we're all adults. Financial pornography. So it says stop listening to the financial pornography. Okay, and I like that term because it's bad for you it's something that's bad for you to listen to or watch, right? So it's bad for you. Stay away from it. So don't listen to it. And some people they sit there glued to it, and it's going to cause their blood pressure to go up. It's going to cause them to it's just going to cause bad things. You don't do that. All right. So just don't listen to it and don't worry about it. Now, if you are one of those people with a calm, even demeanor, you can pick up some bargains right now. All right. So just look and ask yourself, what company do you think is going to be around after this is over? Which companies are going to survive and which aren't? And maybe invest in those. Maybe think about investing in those. Who knows? Definitely don't spend money that you need for other things. Of course, be responsible. But until that point, definitely, if you've got some extra cash and you've been wanting to invest, now's a great time to pick up some deals. Something interesting I thought you'd know. Now, it's all is not lost because the founder and the CEO of Zoom, where we're doing our classes and stuff on now, his net worth increased $20 billion over these last 2 weeks. So all is not lost. Just, there are some that are doing well and some that aren't. Don't worry about your investments. Have a buy and hold mindset. All right, so you need to buy it and hang on to it. Don't look to get rich quick. This is definitely not the time to do that. But just buy and or really any time, but just buy and hold. All right, be in there for the long haul. It will come back. It will do well. Can you honestly imagine a point where we would not rebound back to have a thriving business community? Sit and think for that for a minute. No, I can't think of any time. So don't worry about that. All right. So stop listening to the financial porn and worry about the 2 days that matter. And there's a little inchworm here on my table. He's kind of cute. Okay, so you can think about him. He may have some teeth. We might not think about him. I think I'm going to divert him the other way. Okay. All right, so keep some perspective. I read this the other day, and I wanted to keep your perspective. Think about how your relatives felt during World War II with Hitler and everything. Think about how, they would have felt. It would have been uncertain. When Pearl Harbor hit, we wouldn't have known. They would have just thought, they wouldn't have known what's coming from there. They wouldn't have known if this is going to all come over here. Right now, we can look back in our economic history and say that World War II, this sounds callous, okay? So forgive me, but it's the truth. World War II ushered in one of the greatest eras of prosperity that we've ever had, okay? But we didn't know that at the time. Nobody knew that at the time. So think about that. They were afraid and uncertain and all those things. We rationed stuff so that we could send it for the war effort. All kinds of things we did. So just just keep it in perspective, all right? Just say we don't know what's coming. It could be something good. All right? It could be good. It might be bad, but it could easily be good. Okay? It could be the greatest prosperity we've ever known. We're coming off of some of the greatest prosperity we've ever known. We could very easily go beyond that. There could be there could be lots of things that could come out of this that are good things too. All right, so keep that perspective. 9/11, we just mentioned that. 9/11 was another thing. Like I said, I remember I was an adult at the time. We didn't know what was coming. We just knew more was coming. And that was scary. And it was terrifying, and we didn't know. Business community ground to a halt. All kinds of things happened like that. So just keep your perspective. And we did come through that. That didn't usher us into great prosperity, but we came out of it. All right, we made it through the Great Recession. We made it through. We made it through all these things. We are resilient. We are America, and we're resilient, and we'll get through this as well. Okay. Now, so to sum up the economy, what's going on right now? The government is providing some bailouts so that the banks can loan. So that'll see C&I going up, which would lead to GDP, shoring up GDP. Are we going to see a drop in GDP? Probably. Is it going to be a recession? We don't know yet. And won't those guys that wanted their names in the news, won't they look like idiots if we don't? I want to see that. So we don't know yet, right? We're not going to know for 5 months, for more than 5 months. Okay? So if you're wanting to say this is it now, sit back and get a nice sparkly mineral water, because we don't know. And hey, you can put whatever you want in this cup. I'm not judging. Okay. So that's that. So the government is providing some things so that C&I. We're concerned about our health. That I can't offer anything. All I can offer is economics. But we do know we have some of the best technology in the world and some of the best medical minds working on it. All right? So let's continue to have hope and faith that they're going to come up with something for us. All right? And we'll take our precautions to keep ourselves safe. Whatever those precautions feel like to you. Another thing I'd like to say is don't judge people when you see them go into the grocery store. You don't know. All right? So don't judge people. Just use whatever precautions feel right to you. Okay. All right, so some good things to talk about. First of all, and the stock market. Let's sum up that. I think I just did that, right? All right. Don't listen to the news. Don't watch the news. A lot of it. I mean, keep it in perspective. And when the companies start to increase in value, the stock market will go back up. All right. Get some bargains if you've got some. If you got some money to do so. Okay. So here's some good news. Now, one thing I will say is that for America, we always rally together when we have a crisis. We're good at that. So let's hear about some of the ways that people are rallying together. Apparel companies, for one, are making masks and gowns and things for our first responders and for our hospital folks. Ralph Lauren is making 250,000 a day of masks and stuff. So that's really great, isn't it? So they'll have designer masks. That's pretty cool. People, and not just designers. Designers are doing that. I was trying to think, where else did I hear that was doing that? I think maybe it was Scad Fashion was doing that. But anyway, I know who it was. It was the Alliance Theater. Their costumers are making masks and gowns for Emory. So, for Emory Hospital. So we've got some good stuff going there. So people are rallying to help, and not just the designers, but anybody who can sew and things like that. So if you can sew, that's something you can do to help others and get your mind off of things if you need to. But that's one of the things that's going on. Tech companies are making the ventilators, of course, and the equipment that's needed. They've repurposed to do that. Apple and Microsoft and all the tech companies, Google, whoever's a tech company, they're doing that. But also, they are running algorithms. Okay, so it's like we're all using what we've got, right? I'm here trying to reassure people who may not need reassuring after all. Maybe I did a good enough job the first time that you're not worried about this. Maybe you're saying I got 99 problems, but the economy ain't one. All right. But they're also running algorithms to try and figure out a way to stop the spread. So they're using mathematics to do that, which I think is just so geek cool that I can't even stand it. I love it. So I can't wait to hear more about that, and I will definitely put that out there for you. And I did have some articles that I promised to put up. I've hesitated to put too much out there because this is our spring break and everything, but I do have some articles I've been collecting for you that I'll put on D2L for you to take a look at whenever you want to. Of course, nothing is due until after spring break. Distilleries and breweries are making hand sanitizer with alcohol. So kind of cool. I can see that going south in a lot of ways, but it's also, I mean, it's very cool. So, we need them and they know how to do it. So that's great. Those of you who are in my micro classes and talked about diseconomies of scale will know what I'm about to talk about. Those of you who have not heard of that yet, it's talking about part of diseconomies of scale are when executives are out of touch, and they have been a lot, but they're getting back in touch now, aren't they? They're running a company from there. This has kind of been an equalizer of sorts, right? It's an equalizer of sorts. I mean, when you saw Tom Hanks, Prince Charles, and Idris Elba getting this virus, then it doesn't care who you are, right? So, so some of the executives are getting back in touch. So that's good. That might usher in a new era in companies and in management. So hopefully that'll be good for us, right? Pollution is going down. With people staying home there's less pollution. So that's pretty cool, huh? Pollution is going down. And then, as I was saying before, the animals have no idea. Spring is coming anyway. Spring is here. So there's that. All right, so those are just some things. This is just some things I wanted to tell you about. There's lots more I could say because you know me. I have never had a problem filling in the space. But I'm going to stop right there so that you won't get bored with me. And I will tell you a little bit about what to expect. Okay, for those of you, like I said, those of you who are already in online classes, you won't have to do anything except keep maybe just a couple of dates that would get changed for you, okay? So other than that, you're fine. And if you need to sign off now, go ahead because this is for the face-to-face. I'll tell you a little bit about what to expect. All right, so those of you who have never had me for an online class before, I like to, I'm going to talk louder over the lawnmower. I like to have this class kind of self-paced, all right? So I have recorded lectures, and they are, just kind of generic lectures. I will add in some stuff like this over the next few weeks to keep things. I will add in some more videos like this to keep up with what's going on, okay? But for right now, we have, sorry, heard something that struck me. Okay, but I will be putting those recorded. The material will be covered in the recording lectures, and you can watch those at self-paced because I know that some of your other classes are going to be a little bit topsy-turvy. So while you're figuring those out, mine is going to be very low-key for you, okay? Just watch the videos whenever you get a chance. You can go back and watch them, and there will be notes to be taken from them. You can watch them as many times as you want, as much or as little as you want. I never take them down. So if you go back and look at some notes and you're like, wait, I didn't quite understand that, you can go back and look again, okay? It'll be available to you. So we do that, and then there will be, now your homework has already been posted. So you have your homework still available for the rest of the semester, and it's due on the exact, I didn't change the due dates on that. So you are welcome to go back and do that whenever you want, okay? And then your exams, I put the new exam dates on the syllabus addenda. Now, I put an addendum to the syllabus on D2L for you, and it's just one sheet that just tells you how things will be handled, okay? So you'll look at that, and that will have the new dates for the tests for you, okay? So you can look at that, and if you have any questions, of course, let me know. Office hours, You can always email me. For those of you who would like to drop in, I'm going to set up some office hours via Zoom, and I'll put a link on D2L for that. Okay, I don't know. I'm still learning Zoom. So if I mess up, please accept my apology in advance, but I'm going to try to have it where you guys, just like apparently it's like a regular office where y'all can just drop in whenever you want. So I'm going to do that and set that up for you. So you'll have that link, and it may be a different link each week, or it may be the same one. We'll find out. Okay, so we'll find out, and if it needs to be changed, I'll just put a place where you can look at it. Maybe I'll put it right there next to the syllabus, or put in a submodule that says office hours, but I will make it where you can find it. All right, I will continue to post announcements on D2L, so anything that you need to know, you can find it there, and otherwise, it should be very low-key and relaxed. You know, this class, you will be fine. All right, you will be fine. I'll take a look at grades to see if there's anything that looks hinky that we need to adjust or whatnot. But for right now, I've been teaching online. The good news for you guys is I have been teaching online for several years, so I am familiar with the process, and it's been working very well the way I structure it. So I think you'll be okay. If you have questions, by all means, let me know. All right, so with that, I'm going to sign off. If you have economic questions, if you'd like me to do a Q&A video, send your questions to me, and I'm doing the like Jeff Goldblum, aren't I? I just noticed that about myself. But if you have some questions you would like me to address, why don't you send those to me? You can email them to me, and I will do a Q&A video of stuff that's going on for the economy. I will try to answer everything I can. If I don't get any questions, then I will just make it up. All right? If I hear anything interesting, I will post that for you. And I really do miss you guys. I really do. I mean, I'm feeling very lonesome over here, but I will be okay. And then who knows? We might meet via Zoom at some point, but we'll see how things go. Anyway, until I see you again, stay safe, stay calm. Have fun, and whatever you need from me, know that I'm here for you. Bye, guys.